American Hustle is a 2013 American crime comedy drama film directed by David O. Russell, from a screenplay written by Eric Warren Singer and Russell, loosely based on the FBI ABSCAM operation of the late 1970s and early 1980s. It stars Christian Bale and Amy Adams as two con artists who are forced by an FBI agent to set up an elaborate sting operation on corrupt politicians, including the mayor of Camden, New Jersey. Jennifer Lawrence plays the unpredictable wife of Bale's character. Principal photography on American Hustle began on March 8, 2013, in Boston and Worcester, Massachusetts, and New York City. The film had its nationwide release in the United States on December 20, 2013, and has since grossed more than $251 million worldwide. As well as being a box office success, the film received widespread critical acclaim. It received 10 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Writing, but did not win in any category. It became the second film since 1981, and the 15th overall, to be nominated in the 4 acting categories, the first being Silver Linings Playbook, also directed by Russell and also starring Cooper and Lawrence. American Hustle won 3 Golden Globe Awards, the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture and 3 BAFTA Awards, among other achievements. Plot: in 1978, con artists Irving Rosenfeld and Sidney Prosser have started a relationship and are working together. Sidney has improved Rosenfeld's scams, posing as English aristocrat Lady Edith Greensley. While Irving loves Sidney, he is hesitant to leave his wife Rosalind out of fear of losing contact with their son, Danny. Rosalind is also threatened that she could report Irving to the police if he leaves her. FBI agent Richie DiMarso catches Irving and Sidney in a loan scam, but offers to release them if Irving can line up for additional arrests. Sidney opposes the agreement. Richie believes Sidney is English but has proof that her claim of aristocracy is fraudulent. Sidney tells Irving she will manipulate Richie, distancing herself from Irving. Irving has a friend pretending to be a wealthy Arab sheik looking for potential investments in America. An associate of Irving's suggests the sheik do business with Mayor Carmine Polito of Camden, New Jersey, who is campaigning to revitalize gambling in Atlantic City but has struggled in fundraising. Richie devises a plan to make Carmine the target of a sting operation, despite the objections of Irving and of Richie's boss, Stoddard Horson. Sidney helps Richie manipulate an FBI secretary into making an unauthorized wire transfer of $2 million. When Stoddard's boss, Anthony Armado, hears of the operation, he praises Richie's initiative, pressuring Stoddard to continue. Richie's over-eagerness to catch Carmine causes the mayor to leave their meeting. Irving convinces Carmine the sheik is legitimate, expressing his dislike toward Richie, and the two become friends. Richie arranges for Carmine to meet the sheik at an airfield, and without consulting the others, has Mexican-American FBI agent Paco Hernandez play the sheik, a move Irving is not pleased with. Carmine brings the sheik to a casino party, explaining mobsters are there and it is a necessary part of doing business. Irving is surprised to hear that mafia overlord Victor Telegio, right-hand man to Mayor Lansky, is present, and that he wants to meet the sheik. Telegio explains that the business needs the sheik to become an American citizen and that Carmine will need to expedite the process. Telegio also requires a $10 million wire transfer to prove the sheik's legitimacy. Richie agrees, eager to bring down Telegio, while Irving realizes the operation is out of control. Richie confesses his attraction to Sidney but becomes confused and aggressive when she drops her English accent and admits to being American. Irving arrives to protect Sidney and tries to stop their deal with Richie, but Richie says if they back out, Telegio will learn of the scam and murder them both, as well as Rosalind and Danny. Rosalind starts an affair with Pete Masson, a mobster she met at the party. She mentions her belief that Irving is working with the IRS, causing Pete to threaten Irving, who promises to prove the sheik's investment is real. Irving later confronts Rosalind, who admits she told Pete. She agrees to keep quiet but wants a divorce. With Carmine's help, Richie and Irving videotape members of Congress receiving bribes. Richie goes over Stoddard, convincing Amado that $10 million is needed to get Telegio, but only gets $2 million. A meeting is arranged at the offices of Telegio's lawyer, Alphonse Simone, but Telegio does not appear. Ritchie records Simone's admission of criminal activities. Irving visits Carmine's house and admits to the scam but tells Carmine he has a plan to help him. Carmine angrily throws Irving out. Later, the money is missing, but an anonymous source offers to return it in exchange for Irving and Sidney's immunity and a reduced sentence for Carmine. Amado wants to make the deal, but Ritchie objects. Irving suggests Ritchie either has the money or is incompetent for losing it. In fact, they never met with Telegio's lawyer. Instead, Irving had a friend pose as Simone to con Ritchie. Amado accepts the deal and removes Ritchie from the case, dropping him back into obscurity. Irving and Sidney open an art gallery and move in together, while Rosalind lives with Pete and shares custody of Danny with Irving. Cast: several of the characters are fictional versions of specific real-life counterparts. Christian Bale as Irving Rosenfeld, Bradley Cooper as FBI agent Richard Ritchie DiMarzo, Amy Adams as Sidney Process/Lady Edith Greensley, Jeremy Renner as Mayor Carmine Polito, Jennifer Lawrence as Rosalind Rosenfeld, Louis C.K. as Stoddard Hawson, Jack Houston as Pete Masson, Saudi Tamoy as Irving's chic plant Al from Queens, Michael P. ± as Paco Hernandez/Sheikh Abdullah, Shea Wyam as Carl Elway, Erica McDermott as Carl Elway's assistant/Addie Abrams, Alessandro Nivola as Anthony Amado, Elizabeth Ra Paragraph HM as Dolly Polito, Colleen Camp as Brenda, Paul Herman as Alphonse Simone, Anthony Zerbe as a U.S. Senator from New Jersey, Robert De Niro as Victor Telegio. Production, development. The film began its life as a screenplay titled American Bullshit, by Eric Warren Singer. The screenplay was listed at number 8 on the 2010 Blacklist of Unproduced Screenplays. A film was set up at Columbia Pictures with Charles Roven and Richard Suckle producing through Atlas Entertainment, who initially considered Ben Affleck to direct before David O. Russell ultimately signed on to helm the film. Russell rewrote Singer's screenplay, replacing the characters with caricatures of their respective real-life figures. Production, principal photography started on March 8, 2013 and wrapped in May 2013. The film was shot using locations in and around Boston, Massachusetts and New York. Filming had to be put on hold in the aftermath of the Boston Marathon bombings with the city in lockdown. After lockdown was lifted, the film wrapped its Boston shoot and spent its final few days of production in New York City. Release: Director David O. Russell released the teaser trailer for the film on July 31, 2013, and a theatrical trailer was released on October 9, 2013. In the United States, the film made its wide release on December 20, 2013. Box office: Variety estimated the production budget at $40 million. When producer Charles Roven was asked if the budget was in the $40 to $50 million area, he responded €OEIA unregistered trademark D say theta unregistered trademark SA goods owner as of April 9, 2014. The film has earned $150,117,807 at the North American domestic box office and in international markets, an additional $101,054,000 for a total worldwide box office of $251,171,807. Critical response: American Hustle received critical acclaim upon its release. The cast received praise for their performances, notably Jennifer Lawrence and Amy Adams. Review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes gives the film a 93% rating, based on reviews from 243 critics with an average score of 8.2/10. The site's consensus reads, "Riotously funny and impeccably cast, American Hustle compensates for its flaws with unbridled energy and some of David O. Russell's most irrepressibly vibrant direction." Metacritic gives a score of 90/100, indicating universal acclaim, based on reviews from 47 critics. Christy Lemire awarded the film 4 out of 4 stars, praising David O. Russell's directing and the relationship between Irving and Sidney, as well as Jennifer Lawrence's portrayal of Rosalind. She writes, "For all its brashness and big personality, American Hustle is a character study at its core, an exploration of dissatisfaction and drive, and the lengths to which we're willing to go for that elusive thing known as a better life. Richard Roeper of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film an A+, especially complimenting Bradley Cooper's performance and stating that American Hustle was the best time I've had at the movies all year. He later named it the year's best film. Time magazine's Richard Corliss wrote, "American Hustle is an urban eruption of flat-out fun, the sharpest, most exhilarating comedy in years. Anyone who says otherwise must be conning you." Peter DeBruge of Variety was critical of the film, calling it a sloppy sprawl of a movie, and complaining that the improvisational performances overwhelm instead of adding to a coherent plot. He also went on to write that it makes your brain hurt and worse, overwhelms the already overcomplicated ABSCAM retelling at the center of the film. Accolades. American Hustle received 7 Golden Globe Award nominations. It won for Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy, with Amy Adams and Jennifer Lawrence winning Best Actress Motion Picture Musical or Comedy and Best Supporting Actress Motion Picture respectively. It received 10 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay, but did not win in any category. It was the second film since 1981, and the 15th overall, to be nominated in the 4 acting categories, the first being Silver Linings Playbook, which Russell also directed. It was the first such film to not win any acting awards since Sunset Boulevard at the 23rd Academy Awards. The film also took top honors at the 20th Screen Actors Guild Awards, winning for Outstanding Cast in a Motion Picture. The film was also nominated for 10 British Academy Film Awards, with Jennifer Lawrence winning for Actress in a Supporting Role, and David O. Russell and Eric Warren Singer winning for Best Original Screenplay. Home media. American Hustle was released on DVD and Blu-ray on March 18, 2014. Historical accuracy. American Hustle does not attempt to directly document the events of ABSCAM. The names are changed, and the film begins with the on-screen message, "Some of this actually happened." Major departures from reality include, in the film, Irving Rosenfeld begins a life of criminality when he smashes storefront windows as a child in order to provide more work for his father's glass installation business. In real life, Melvin Weinberg began working for his father only as an adult. He did smash windows at that point, and according to one article after ABSCAM was revealed, it was indeed done to shore up business for Weinberg's father. A later report, however, states that it was done at the behest of the local union, to punish businesses who use non-union glaziers. In the film, Camden Mayor Carmine Polito is shown as a selfless politician who gets involved in the scam only to provide jobs to his constituents. Irvin feels so bad for Carmine that he engineers a reduced sentence for him. In reality, though Camden Mayor Angelo Ericetti was widely praised for caring about the people of Camden, he also had a reputation for committing crimes. During the ABSCAM operation, he offered to get the fake sheik into illegal businesses such as money counterfeiting and drug smuggling. Though Weinberg developed a fondness for Ericetti as a man who didn't beat around the bush, he made no attempt to protect Ericetti from prosecution. Evelyn Knight, Weinberg's mistress on whom the character of Sidney Prosser is based, was involved in Weinberg's scams, though to a lesser extent than shown in the film. And she was not involved in ABSCAM. She was also English, not an American impersonating an English woman as shown in the film. Weinberg's wife Cynthia Marie Weinberg, the basis for Rosalind Rosenfeld, is not known to have had an affair with someone from the mafia, nor did she nearly blow Weinberg's cover. The character of Richie DiMarso is based to some extent on federal agent Tony Amoruso, although in real life Amoruso was just one of a number of agents involved in setting up and executing the scam. In the film, the sheik is impersonated by a Mexican-American FBI agent who spoke no Arabic. In real life, the sheik was played by 2 different agents, first briefly by an American, Mike Denui, who spoke no Arabic, then by a Lebanese American. References. External links, official website, American Hustle at the Internet Movie Database, American Hustle at Rotten Tomatoes, American Hustle at History vs. Hollywood, American Hustle at All movie.